My cat. You said no, right? Yeah, that's it. Jesus,
That's right.
that's actually a good one. Hey everybody, this is the Mardox Daily Live Chat. My name is Nelson, and we're here today, here every day, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day, Monday through Friday. We got Josh with us today, and we got a couple good topics. We had some people saying they were going to join in, and then they just didn't show up. Fran. So go ahead and post on the video. Go ahead and post at YouTube questions or comments directly, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Your questions, that is, not the videos. My thingy just messed up on me here. Give me a second here. Josh, we had a question from a user sent by email. How did you make your first dollar online? So how did you go about making your very first dollar online?
I was a business consulting firm, and I built my own website, and somebody said, "Who built your website?" I said, "I did." They said, "Can you build ours?" Next thing I know, I was in a web business.
It came really unexpectedly.
It really did. Completely unexpected.
There you go.
And figured it out as I went after that.
And I was telling Josh, my very first dollar online, and it's a funny story. I was 14 years old. I fell in the lake. I took out my wallet, hung my money up on the clothesline. That's how I got my very first dollar online. So that was my joke for today. But now, how did I make my first dollar online? I started these membership. I started back in 1995, 96. I started one of these exchanges, and that was Safe Mail Exchange, and it was pretty neat because we didn't have the means to accept credit cards or a way to, we didn't have the funding, because back then it was like $5,000 to accept credit cards to get started, because you had to put a guarantee down, especially being an internet business. And I told people, you want to be able to post to the entire list, send $5. $5 a month gets you a 1 month membership, and you're a paid member. It's the first time we monetized the site. That was about a week after we set up the site, and it was pretty funny. I had to actually go to the bank with a pile of checks, put them on the counter, and ask the lady, "Can you deposit all those in the account?" And you wouldn't believe how bad you ruin a day for a cashier at a bank when you walk up with 100 checks for $5 each. I mean, $20, $30, $50 not bad, but $5 at a time. You know the classic scene where she's got the stamp and she goes, do that 100 times. You want to see a pissed off woman every time you show up? You can see their face when they're in line. They're like, "Oh no, not him."
And thus the reason they created PayPal.
Yep. Yeah, but this was before PayPal.
I know.
Yeah, this was before. I mean, I was happy when PayPal opened and went with it. It was a good thing. It was a decent thing. So I guess nobody's showing up today, Josh. So I guess we're going to talk tech today.
I guess.
Yeah. Any ideas on techie talk?
What do we want to go over?
Whatever. Well, we can't talk about insulting any of our members. So don't go into traffic exchanges. That gets touchy. We can't talk technical and religion. That's too touchy. John Brewer actually got a little irked the other day when I compared science and the alien thing with religion, and Adam and Eve being aliens relative to us on another planet, and we're descendant from them. I think it kind of irked him. He went into that whole religious spiel on it was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I was here for part of it and not here for part of it.
Yeah, you kind of dozed off.
No, I had a client that called me in the middle of the call.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you had that pre-recorded that sound there. Like, oh, okay, I'm sick of these guys. Click. Just play the sound, make it look like I'm busy. Sound about right?
Busy.
Oh, I didn't put my headphones on. Whoops, am I echoing?
Nope. No echo here.
I'm gonna make darn sure there's no echo, because
I can't hear an echo.
It's gotta look pro. Yeah.
No.
Fugly says funny. From what we're talking about, I guess with the clothesline thing, he says funny. Fugly's on the on chat, so hey, we got one person watching. Yay!
There you go.
There you go.
One's better than none. So, what do you want to go over?
I don't know. What is there? Let's see. Can people create membership sites with WordPress, and how would you go about doing it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do membership sites all day long in WordPress.
Okay. How do we go about doing it? I mean, I know members can install WordPress, but what would you?
Several free membership plugins in the WordPress repository. So if you go to the repo for WordPress, which is at WordPress.org, there's tons and tons of free plugins out there. Probably about 50,000 of them so far. And as far as membership plugins, there's probably about 100 or so out there. You know, as far as which one's the best, it depends on really what you're doing. I would never say that, you know, this one plugin is the only cure-all, because you may need to do, you know, you may have exit scripts where they're leaving and you want to try to downsell them before they leave the membership. That's going to be one different plugin. You may need multiple levels. That may be a different plugin. Maybe you only need one level. They got a simple setup for one plugin. So there's different types of plugins depending on what kind of membership site they want to do. They also, in addition to that, have courseware plugins for online courses as well. So if you're trying to do like courses, I would recommend doing that in addition to the membership plugins.
Yeah, to learn how to configure this stuff and how to set it up properly.
Well, it sets it up more like an LMS instead of setting it up as a traditional membership model, which usually you can get higher fees for. In addition to the, it has automatic certificate generation. You can do quizzes and tests and stuff like that.
Right. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Fugly just wrote a text. He goes, upsells rock. You ass. Sorry, no, can't swear. Can't swear anymore on the show. YouTube's going to demonetize us because we have to be sweet little angels and not say anything foul or bad or that's a whole other topic in its own. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. This demonetization is going to hell. So many people that are creators on YouTube, they're already saying if things don't change before the year's up, they're just going to go somewhere else or just give up. I mean, YouTube is going to become such a vanilla flavored. Everybody smiles and giggles at the nicest things, teddy bears and raindrops and rainbows and lollipops, and that's what it's all going to be.
That's no fun.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna crash and burn. We need the foul language. We need to be able to say shit and damn once in a while. You know, we need to be able to express ourselves. You know.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I just do my whole foul. It doesn't matter. All my videos are demonetized automatically right now. It's like, thanks YouTube. I do this. I do this just for PR.
So I mean, there's all kinds of ways to make money online. It's just depending on what you want to do. You can do, if you live in small towns, set up a business directory. You'd be surprised how many small towns don't have one.
Oh yeah, and tell the people in that town to pay you, like we talked about the business card site.
Actually, I think that's the worst idea. Actually, the better idea is just to give them a free directory listing.
A free one.
Yeah, because you can make way more money down the road, long term.
How's that?
Because if I sit there and charge them for the directory listing, they're going to pay maybe for their 1 year. They may pay a second year. They may forget and decide not to pay ever again. But if I do a free listing, I'm going to keep them on forever because they don't have to pay, so I really don't care how long they're there for.
Right.
The benefit of the free listing, though, is that when they listed themselves, I get their email, and I can charge for the email marketing to other companies later.
Oh, okay, yeah. As long as they know.
So as long as I build out, so if you build out two lists, you build out a business list for businesses and the consumer list for consumers. So if I, for example, consumer list, you may say, sign up here to get free coupons from businesses. And you build out a consumer list, then I can sell that list to the businesses later down the road.
Yeah.
And as long as it's free to join, they'll sign up all day long.
That's right. But you do have to have a free service to come in. Like I've been talking to people lately about funnel marketing, and so many people don't understand funnel marketing. They advertise their ebook. They say, "Give me your email address," and it's like, you'll get my ebook. They figure, well, my funnel doesn't work because people don't come in and take my ebook. Well, people don't care about your ebook. Give them something truly for free, something where they don't need to plug in all this information. You know.
Yeah, called a lead magnet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lead magnet's a little bit more complicated, but yeah, the same thing. And get the masses coming into one free
loss leader, either one.
Yeah, and then after that, sell to them. Gain their confidence. Even for $1 lately, people are not going to separate themselves from $1.
I'm pretty bad about that, actually. I don't do a lot of free stuff.
You don't offer it, or you don't sign up to it?
I don't offer it.
You don't offer it. You see, I got two
No,
things.
but there's the reason for that, and here's the reason I explain that to people all the time. If you're broke, offer free stuff. It'll get you business. If you're busy, raise your prices. It'll slow down business. That's the problem we have.
Yeah, that's it.
So I have to kind of keep raising my prices to slow down things, so that we don't get overloaded.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a bit of a balance too. I mean, myself too. I look at we're now at 5,000 members at Mardox, and it's essentially a free service. You sign up for free, but yeah, that's one of the problems that we have is there's so many free people joining in. All they want is the free stuff. They don't want to upgrade, and it's like I'm constantly doing tech support for free members. It's like, oh, it's free. You know, you don't get hosting. You don't get all the flu. In fact, I don't know. I'm working on this.
I know a lot of WordPress plugins that they offer. Some of them offer free support. Some of them say if you want support, pay up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just use the plugin and figure it out.
Well, what I'm going to do is
and I'm okay with that model. I have no problem when they sit there and say you got to pay for support. Pay them, because if you like the plugin, if you like what you're using, you want them to support it, and they can't support it for free.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem with the community and the overall in the internet. Everybody wants everything for free, and I keep trying to explain to people, if it's free, I don't want to use it, really, because there's a good chance it's not supported.
That's right. Every time I download Ubuntu, the latest version, you know how you come to the page and say, please make a donation. Do you want to donate to this, to this, to this? I donate every time, and there was one time I updated 3 computers, and I donated all 3 times in that same day. And my bank even called me and said, "Are you sure you did 3 transactions in the same organization for $5 each?" They thought it was a glitch. And I said, "No, it's 3 separate donations of $5." It's not much, but these people do put that money towards hosting and bandwidth and all that. There are some people that do get paid for this stuff. And you pay for what you want. If nobody ever pays, it's going to go away. Yep. It's gonna disappear real quick. One of the things I'm implementing at Mardox, I'm doing the help desk, but integrated right into the Mardox site. I'm getting rid of this old software that I'm gonna have to pay for, which I don't want to. I just said it's not versatile. It's not flexible enough to what I'm doing. And one of the functions that are in there, that if you're a paid user, your ticket's gonna come in, but it's gonna sit there. Paid users get seen first.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And that's one.
There's a lot of companies that do that too. Priority. I mean, one of the things, and a lot of times in the WordPress community, if you want one-on-one support, meaning if I submit a ticket to you to get something answered, it's usually going to be you have to be paid member in order to get that answer. Whereas if they are providing free support, usually it's in the form of, here's the forum, sign up, see if your question's on the board. If not, then sit there and post your question, and we'll answer it for the group.
Yeah. That's right.
Because I don't want to answer it over and over and over again.
That's it. That's right. And and then myself, there's going to be with the paid tier, there's going to be a phone service, but I'm not sure if it's going to be at $24.95 or if we're going to bump that one up to the $49.95 membership. But allow them to call in. We have the click to call service now for paid members, but they're able to call in and say, "Yeah, I got this problem," or "How do I do this?" They can physically actually call directly to us. But that service costs money, and that's what people don't get. It costs long distance fees. We do actually have to pay for that connectivity. So it's free members go, "Well, how come we can't call?" Well, how come we can't get the money out of your pocket? So it's a pain in the butt thing. Hey, listen, if free members, you get what it is. It's free. You get what you get. Paid members, theoretically, you're supposed to get better service. There we go. I just got notification on my phone that the show started. Did you know the show just started?
Really?
Yeah, it just started. Yeah.
Yeah, only 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I would have thought there would have been more people joining in today. Belinda's usually here. That's gonna be 2 days she's gone now. We're gonna find out that she lost the internet or something again, or there was a wicked storm.
Yep, who knows?
Another hurricane.
Who knows? Yeah,
it just took a long time to get from California to her.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't even know where she's at, to be honest with you.
Belinda's in New Jersey, I think. You know.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, I think she's in New Jersey. I think. Yeah. She's in Jersey. You guys were always joking about how it's what it's like in Jersey.
Oh, I wasn't aware.
There you go. So what else do you want to chat about that's of any kind of relevance?
I mean, if you want to go over, man. There's all kinds of ways to make money online. So
Hey, who would you?
we're always challenging that. I always tell people that here's the thing, and YouTube can demonetize it if they want to, because you said they're already demonetized anyways.
Yeah.
If Cards Against Humanity can sell 30,000 boxes of bullshit and sell out, and when the people got the boxes, they did the openings on YouTube, and it was literally bullshit.
Yeah.
You can sell anything online. You can make money. If people that tell me they can't make money online, I'm like, if you got a product better than bullshit, it will sell. Because bullshit sells.
Well,
there's a website called NYC Garbage. They sell cubes of garbage for $50 to $100, depending on the event that the garbage came from.
Right.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Why are they selling garbage?
They sell it as art. They put it in these little plastic cubes, and they sell it as art for $50 to $100. To me, it's a waste of money, but to people out there, they sell out like candy. I mean, this company sells out.
No, reason why I was asking about the garbage, I know a guy here in town that is collecting cans, not pop cans, tin cans for for soups and stuff. Like the ones that you don't like, the pea soup and the chunky. There, I went and said it. But he's covering his entire wall of his house with these aluminum can lids, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. He's doing a wall with this. It's like it looks good, but it's like, why?
Because it looks good. That's why you do.
That's it. It's really cool. It's just Fugly wrote in the chat. He said Jersey, so she's in Jersey. Yeah, Fugly knows that. But one person once told me, I can't make money online. I'm disabled, and I said, that's complete crap. I said, you can make money online. Anybody can. Just put your mind to it. I think people are prone to go towards this I can't mentality versus I can.
If they tell me they can't, I just laugh, because I've got more problems than they'll ever have.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, I owe over $300,000 in debt for student loans and things like that over the years, and back before the economy crashed on us all and destroyed all of our finances. I have, at one point I was borderline kidney failure. I had my liver levels just came back normal for the first time in 5 years. And let's see, in addition to that, I have heart issues, breathing issues. I'm autistic, ADHD, and pretty much everything else. And if I can make it, they can make it. Just suck it up.
But making money online, one of my people that I know here locally, he takes, like I said in one of the other shows, he takes people's business cards, he scans them, puts them up on the website, it indexes people's business cards. And recently I've been talking to him about doing it worldwide. It doesn't have to be just Sherbrooke.
I know a company that you send them your business cards in mail them your business cards, rubber band or whatever, and they'll put them into an Excel spreadsheet and send them back to you for like $100. And it's like, I think it's like, it's almost like 50 cents a card they're charging. And they make money doing it, because they just do nothing but send them through a scanner all day long. And people pay that stuff, especially if you're local.
Really? Okay.
If I can hand you a whole handful of business cards and say, here, put these into a database for me, they'll do it in a heartbeat. And they'll just put them in a scanner and then fill in the blanks of what the scanner doesn't detect, and they'll sit there and be done.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll take them all of about 20 minutes. They'll make $100. Everybody's happy.
That's it.
There is businesses out here. DA is probably the easiest business model in the U.S. right now. Every time I talk to clients, they ask me if I have a VA. I don't have any. And every time they ask me, well, do you know any? I said, everybody I know is busy.
Right.
These are always booked. U.S. VAs are always booked. There's never any openings. So overseas VAs, tons of openings. Here in the U.S., you can't find people.
That's right.
No one wants to do VA work here. VA work in Chicago pays $20 an hour.
VA is what now?
Virtual assistant.
Virtual assistant. Okay.
So doing like database entries,
Yeah,
data entries, that kind of stuff, blog postings, posting on their social media and
yeah,
stuff like that. They pay like $20 an hour out here
yeah.
for people that'll do that, and they
And,
can't find them because they're all busy as hell.
yeah, and that the people that can do it, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do data entry all day. Why
Mm-hmm.
not? Why not? We need that. I needed a person to do data entry a while back, and it took me and my daughter about a week to go through and do all the work. That person could have gotten paid $20 an hour to do the work, but the three people that came in, they tried a little bit, and they're like, no, this isn't for me, and they left. And it's like, what the hell? It's a job. That's what people are looking for is work, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. Becoming a virtual assistant. This Belinda would be a good person to talk to about that because she has done it, and
I know a lot of people, they start off as virtual assistants and then they get into other things. So,
yeah,
and
but
it's
yeah,
because they
yeah,
get the opportunities are there because
yeah,
you're already doing virtual assistant work for them, and they're like, hey, by the way, can you do this? I could, but then I'd have to charge you more. Okay, fine,
yeah, that's it.
great.
That's
Well,
it.
now next thing you know, you're in the SEO field, or
Yeah,
you're in the programming field, or whatever.
yeah,
But it's the fastest way in the door. If you know how to use a computer, there's a lot of people that still don't.
that's it. That's it. I mean, we could.
At one point, I had a client. That came up to me. He saw me in a restaurant going over website stuff with another client, and he just happened to overhear a conversation that we were talking to him about websites. And he walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I get your card?" I'm like, "Sure." You need a website? No, but I'd like to. Do you teach people how to use computers? I'm like, "Sure." So he
Yeah,
called me up. Next thing I know, I'm going to his house teaching him, a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old guy, how to use a computer.
yeah.
He wanted to look up his. He was a General MacArthur fan, so he wanted to figure out how to get all this General MacArthur stuff in one place.
There you go. There you
So,
go.
and we charged him by the hour. We go over there for an hour a week, and that was it. We had him. He took notes down every time we were there, and then I would go back over there the next week, and we'd go back over it again.
Yeah,
So
the same stuff, or did he actually learn?
most of the time, it was something different. Every week he would create. What he would do is every week he would create a list of stuff he couldn't do, and then we would come and show him how to do those things and that he couldn't do that week.
Cool.
And then the next week we would do the same thing. So it was all stuff he wanted to do, not stuff we were showing him.
Yeah.
This stuff he wanted to do and learn figure out on his own.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's those kind of elderly things.
I got a project that I started, and I just wanted to see, and I put a little ad in the newspaper, and I said, looking to show people how to make money online, and I was a little bit more, descriptive of that. But how you can own your own website online, and I said, well, I want to do a course. I'm just right now trying to find out who's interested. There's already 500 people that have replied to that little article locally here, saying, hey, I want to see how to do this. Think about it. $10 entry is $5,000 just to talk to 500 people and say, here's what you can do. So no, there's people out there interested in starting the job, but there's not very many people out there willing to show how to do it.
I mean, some of you don't need to know how to show how to do because it's literally just you going out and doing the actual same old thing. Because, I mean, in all honesty, most of the stuff we do in the internet field is not that hard.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's just a matter of people's personalities. And if you're great at solving problems, programming's for you. If you're not, you're going to hate programming.
Oh yeah. I mean, I spent
because
yesterday.
Sometimes you spend days trying to solve one issue.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I had a trouble with. You see, SMTP.com has updated the protocol so that when we send out mail, I want to be able to have the bounce messages come back, and I know what address is bounced, so that we don't get a person going, I'm going to use the same address over and over and over again, and so I wanted to get that to work. I could not get the damn thing to work, and it turned out I had a comma instead of a period. At one point, and it was just every time I look over the line, comma, and it would say period. It was a dot there, and it needed to be a dot, and there was a comma, and it was like it was one character.
You need a better code editor on that one.
Well, yeah,
most code editors would catch that.
No, but it's a string of text that we have to send to the server, and the code editor wouldn't see it. It literally was, I could have typed a Zubalu, and it would have still let it go through, but it wasn't what the server at the other end was looking for. That's it. It had to be a dot, not a comma. I had a comma in there, and it needed to be a dot. And I was going, why aren't I getting results back? But there's no error. And the worst thing with problem solving and programming is when you run your script and there's no error message. There's no feedback. It's like, what's up, you know?
Mhm.
And it's like, the computer is doing exactly what you told it to do. It gave you back exactly what you asked for it. It had no results based on what you gave it. So it did its job fine, therefore there's no errors. But it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. There should have been a long list of, bounced addresses, and it's like, what's going on? 2 hours to figure that out. Yeah, if you're not a problem solver, don't get into programming. you know. But I see a lot of people like Lauren. The other day, it was yesterday, I said, Lauren, are you ready to get your own website going? Start making money. And Lauren happens to be a person that, it needs money for certain things. And it blew me away when she said, no, not right now. And I'm like, what? Set up a site, get a membership site going. She can do content. She knows how to use a computer, but she said no, and it kind of blew my mind. Like, why wouldn't you want to do
There's
something?
some people that don't want to do anything. It happens.
Well, she wants to do something, but she wants to spend a lot of money to get started on this other project where this won't cost her anything.
I mean, when I started the company, I got laid off of a job. I had to borrow money to start the company.
Yeah.
And I borrowed it from family. Luckily I got some pretty well-off people in my family. And so I borrowed $2,000. That's all I borrowed. $2,000. And I built my company off that, and I haven't borrowed anything since.
That's it.
From the family, at least. And that's all I borrowed. And I built my business off that. But the one advantage I had, and I don't think a lot of people could do that, I had a business degree already at the time, a master's in fact, working on a doctorate. So that did get me in some doors,
Yeah.
When you can walk into somebody's company and say, hey, let's look at your marketing. Well, why should I trust you? Well, I got an MBA working on a doctorate. How about you?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, never mind. Yeah. Or, and now it's even easier. I'm working on a doctorate, 2 doctorates, and I've owned my own company for the last 9 years. And you? Oh, I'm just getting started. Okay, well,
I'm just getting started. I don't know shit. Yeah, that's it. Well, but just to be clear, just because you're going for a doctorate doesn't mean you're an expert in what they're talking about, because there is so much to learn.
I think that there's some people that are and some people that aren't. Let's put it that way.
Well, I know. Some
for
people,
me, I tend to be, luckily because I'm autistic, I tend to be able to apply what I figure out really quickly.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people though that can't do that, and they have a lot more trouble than I do.
Yeah, well, because that's what I'm saying. I know some PhDs in computer sciences, and they don't know half the shit that I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I see with computer science majors is that they don't know marketing.
Well, they know theory. They don't necessarily know the application of
well, that's true, too. Yeah, computer science doesn't actually... That's one thing that most people don't know. Now, there's a whole other topic. If you get a degree in computer science, you don't necessarily know how to code.
Right.
Because they only go over theory in code, not actual coding, right. Which is kind of weird and stupid to me. I actually thought that was the strangest lesson I learned when I tried to go after when I started doing the whole the computer science degrees thing. Mm-hmm. Because when I applied to my bachelor's program in computer science about a year ago, they sit there and said, okay, here's, I was hearing all these rumors about they don't teach you code, because I came in and I was like already a coder, and I kept helping the seniors with their homework, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, if I'm helping the seniors with their homework, they're having trouble with this shit, why am I here? Mm-hmm. And so somebody said, well, that's a good point. Why are you here? So then they said, have you looked into the masters over at University of Georgia? So I looked over there, and they had a requirement for certain things of years of coding and whatever, bachelor's in whatever, another field. And I was like, oh shit, I qualify for this one. Why the hell am I doing the bachelor's?
Yeah, there you go.
So then I sit there and said, well, shit, if I qualify for a master's, I wonder if I qualify for a doctorate. So I started looking around, and sure enough, there you go. I qualify for a doctorate.
That's it.
So I get to skip the bachelor's and master's in computer science and walk all the way into the doctorate with a business degree. And it's actually better for me than walking in with a computer science degree, because I actually understand marketing and stuff that they don't get.
Yeah.
And I would tell everybody when I teach at schools, because I volunteer with code.org, and we go into the schools every year to kind of get the kids interested in technology. Mm-hmm. And I get questions all the time, especially the teachers. They're like, well, what degree should they go major in if they want to get in that field? And I tell them, do not major in computer science.
Oh, it's not worth it. There's so many people majoring, and it's like, oh.
Well, I don't tell them not to go to college. Instead, what I tell them is, if you're going to go into this field, major in business, minor in computers.
Yeah.
Because the computer stuff changes so fast that by the time you graduate, it's useless. The business stuff will keep you going.
That's it. That's effectively it. I mean, the computer, like you said, the computer stuff changes every year. I just upgraded PHP on our server, and I had to go back and change all sorts of stuff in our code because there was deprecated commands in our stuff that broke our scripts, and that took a little while to do. Another thing with programming, if you're going to get into it, you've got to be somebody who doesn't just need to problem solve. You need to be somebody who can visualize in your head what you wanted to do. And I'll give you an example. I got a snippet of code.
Logic trees.
Yeah, that's it. I got a snippet of code from smtp.com. It says, here's how you access our server. And anybody would look at that and go, you put it on the server, you press run, and it goes, what does it do? But you got to build around it to know what to download, how to program it, how to tell your server how to get the information. And then what do you do with the information? What they gave you doesn't do anything. It just accesses their server. And unless you can think outside the box and visualize, okay, I wanted to do all this, then you're gonna have a hard time in programming because you've got to think.
The biggest skills that will make you a good programmer is constantly wanting to find out and troubleshoot stuff. If you're constantly one of those people that are like, I wonder if I could pull this off, even though everybody else tells you it's impossible, you'll probably be a good programmer. If you are one of those people that likes to research stuff, you'll be fine. Because we've all researched shit all over the place, especially with Stack Overflow.
My biggest
Stack Overflow, right?
my biggest drug with programming, is the fact that I'll spend 1 or 2 hours trying to debug something, and I'll go through that emotional roller coaster. That okay, what are we doing here? And then I start to get frustrated, and then it's like, okay, I found the solution. Then I get this high, and I did it. And I thrive off that high of, I found the solution or I found the problem.
Yeah, I had a client hire me to build some website, and we had an issue with the video background. On a Mac, it was showing up like a off-white. On PC, it was showing up completely white. And
MP4?
Yeah.
That's probably why it's MP4?
So no, that wasn't the issue. But the style sheet in the background was literally showing a different color in the background of the actual video, which is kind of weird. So what I ended up doing, all my employees told me couldn't be done, possible. The client told me we were the third company they had hired. They didn't think we'd be able to do it. 3 days into research, I came to the conclusion that, we're not going to be able to change the video, but wait a minute, we can still make a solution for this. So we wrote a JavaScript program to call the operating system, which is very rare in web development. Normally we only call the browser. So we actually wrote a JavaScript to call out the operating system to figure out which operating system they were using. And then we wrote a style sheet just for the operating system. Okay,
depending on what operating system you're on, right.
Yes, and then so therefore we when it was off-white, instead of it being off-white with a background of white, it was off-white with a background of off-white, so it looked consistent on there, and the other one had the same background as the video, so it looked consistent there. So the client then all of a sudden was happy with the solution and thrilled. And
that's actually pretty good. Yeah. So what the idea is that you don't have the background of your video versus the background of your site being 2 different colors.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah. That's actually smart.
But we did not realize that the operating systems were calling out different style sheets for the operating system, which is entirely weird because we tested it in Chrome for both operating systems, so it wasn't a Chrome browser issue. It was literally an operating system issue.
Yeah, the Mac OS.
And we had no idea. And once we figured that out, we wrote the script to call out the operating system and then just called the style sheet to that.
Right.
Which is, like I said, really rare in web development. You don't see that done too much.
Yeah, that's it. That is really deep stuff. Yeah, that's it.
So once you get that, it's a piece of cake. You call the operating system, and now you can do anything you want.
That's it.
If you want to really freak people out in web development, you can have some fun. Just write scripts to call out the operating system in the browser and sit there and say, hi, I see you're on a Mac on, Google Chrome, and you're coming from this IP address, and you're located here at this address. Holy shit!
Yeah.
We're coming to get you.
Now give us money, or we're going to show up at your door. And then 2 seconds later, you hear ding dong. What the hell? Oh, jeez. Back in the day, that's what we used to do. I was very much into this whole Web 2.0 stuff, this dynamic information stuff. And we used to do that. We'd freak people out. Even now, when you call in on Mardox, you type in you bring it up, and then the system calls your phone number, and it says it'll say, "Hello, Joshua. Can you please put in your 5-digit PIN to confirm that you're a member?" And then once you put the code in, it literally then says, "Okay, I'm connecting you to Nelson Buck." The system is very dynamic, and an hour later, you might call back. It'll say, "Joshua, have you put your PIN in?" They'll say, "I'm going to connect you to Bruce," and this is pretty neat because now you know who you're going to be talking to when the phone answers, and it's very dynamic, but it does freak people out, especially when our system calls, "Hello, Josh," and I was like, "How do you know it's me?" Oh, jeez. I got a message on my phone that I got to get going. Unfortunately, I got something that just came up.
No, I was going to start bringing up Showdown to see what people thought about that one.
The what?
Showdown. You never heard of that?
No.
Really? All right. Well, you got to go.
No,
so,
go ahead. What's it about?
Showdown is a search engine for IoT.
Internet
of Things.
Internet of Things.
Yeah, it's an Internet of Things.
So in other words, you can do an internet search and find your own fridge?
Yeah.
You're kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. And I've actually pulled up airport security cameras on there. So it's like, hey, our security's great, man.
Where is this?
Showdan.io. It's SHODAN.io.
Just give me a second here.
Yeah, you can pull up all kinds of crazy stuff. But yes, you can search for...
Who runs the .io domains?
It was the Indian Ocean domain at one point, but then they sold it off, and so most people in the tech field use it for input-output.
Yeah, because I played with the game. I played the game Slither.io, and that's that game of snakes. Where you got to collect pellets and
it's like the .tt domains.
Yeah.
That's for Trinidad and Tobago, but they are available to anybody. And .tv is actually a country domain, even though they use it for TV domains now.
I'm just snooping around here. Oh my God, look at that.
Yep.
I'm just messing around. It shows you the IP address of the device, where it's located. Oh wow.
It's crazy stuff, man.
I'm gonna be playing later on. Okay, so I gotta get going. We'll wrap up this show for today. That's pretty neat. The Showdan.io. Wow, I'm gonna be back. Yeah, I already got it in my phone now, so I'm gonna take a look at it while I'm waiting. I gotta go do a delivery here. Anyways, okay, so anyhow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Join us. This is the Mardox Daily Live Chat. Hopefully tomorrow there'll be more people, because just me and Josh can get really technical and boring. I do got a couple topics of interest for tomorrow already. So with that said, since John Brewer's not here to give you the information, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on our videos, and leave us comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we will do that. So till tomorrow, I bid you guys farewell. Josh, if you want to say bye.
Peace out.